Franیا Deutsch was born in Lوبلین in 1928. At just 12 years old, she experienced ghettoization with her family. And very little is known about her life prior to the Holocaust because she did not share that with her family that she had after the war. She never spoke to her children about her parents, any siblings. She kept the details of what she had endured very private. But we know that she was among a small group of women who had survived together imprisonment at Majdanek, Travniki, and later at Auschwitz. The photograph that I've selected to show you shows Franیا, we think, about the 1950s, and it's a studio portrait. She has the sleeve of her sweater rolled up to expose the prisoner number that she was tattooed with at Auschwitz. The number is A13927. And it's something she carried with her on her body her whole life. And very consciously in that moment, she decided to take a photograph that would expose this. We don't know who the photograph was intended for, whether it was intended for her family. Was it meant to be used as evidence that she was a Holocaust survivor? But we see it as a deliberate act. And in that, we see the desire to provide visual testimony of personal experience during the Holocaust. I will just say, to whether this was a conscious decision, it's not the only photograph in this collection that is posed in such a way. Her husband, Morris, also has the same photograph. He's positioned seated, and his shirt arm is also rolled up and exposed, where his prisoner tattoo is also visible. But the moments that we see, whether they're intentionally photographed or whether they're spontaneously captured, are only a brief moment of a larger event that we require additional context to fully interpret. So photographs both speak for themselves, but not sufficiently, and we need to have further information to put the photograph into context. I chose this photograph because we often use photographs to express what is difficult to convey in words. And this was a photograph of a woman who chose not to talk about her experiences. In the 1990s, she was solicited to provide testimony against Jan Demjanjuk, and she chose not to, because she was one of the few survivors of Travniki who may have remembered him. We even have letters in her collection that the museum wrote, sort of soliciting that input. But here too, I think it's the connection one might sense towards an individual and their experience, even where we don't know much about that experience, that really draws you in and prompts further consideration. Drawing on photographs from the Holocaust to communicate this history to audiences, whatever their interest level, is particularly effective. And we see now that even in scholarship, the close study of photography is given more attention now than it has in the past, because we're living at a time where we're consuming so much visually with greater frequency. And I think photographs, whether they're on social media, whether they're used in an exhibition or in filmmaking, are inherently of interest to other people, because we are so, accustomed to taking photographs of our own daily lives that it's a instantly relatable sort of medium.